Whatnot is perfect for people who want to create and engage with their community in live time, in real time.
You're not selling products, you're programming content. This is entertainment, 10, 15-minute segments, maybe the owner of the company or someone from marketing talking about it with a host. The reality is, big surprise, look at how we've treated TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. We don't have attention spans. We want to doom scroll, and this allows you to do that. It functions in the same way that all of the social platforms do, where you can only sell the product sometimes for 15, 20 seconds.
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Man, another week. As we're shooting this, obviously we shoot into the future a little bit, so I'm preparing for Commerce Roundtable, which will have already happened by the time you heard this pod, but that's what I'm working on. How about you guys, man? How's Battle Games?
Battle Games was great. I mean, not to jump straight into Battle Games, but yeah, when this airs, we'll be wrapping up Commerce Roundtable. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, we're talking into the future here. So with that, we've got an exciting pod here today. So if you guys are ready, and if Brian, our funniest guy, decides to ever join us, he might join us throughout this pod. But with that being said, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the awesome pod where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop. Amir from the agency and Jimmy from SAS. John has an Android, but give him a pass, cause he's an operator building brands like a carpenter. And that's Brian, he is the marketer. Like I said, this the awesome pod where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Awesome Pad, another digital show. And today we thought we'd bring something a little bit unique and different. And we don't even have a title as we record this thing. We'll have one, obviously, when you're watching this. But I think it's something around the idea of live shopping, playbook, a formula. I'm trying to think of all the buzzwords, guys. Different things that you basically do to take a brand. And what we're doing here today is this. John, who is one of the hosts here, Mr. Android-loving Survival King, he will be on stage at Commerce Roundtable. We already have been on stage at Commerce Roundtable, and he did a keynote all around what he's uncovered, a very new line of business revenue for his business over the last 12 months that he's been working on. And I asked him if he could put everything and document it and tell us the exact step-by-step of how he's able to deploy a 6, 7, 8-figure potential revenue stream that's forming right now that he's doing from the comfort of his office without going anywhere new. It's just a different skill set that comes into play. So we thought that'd be cool. So with Amer Grosnich over here that we've got, myself, we're going to be kind of in the audience. And what John's going to do is a presentation. And, to be open and honest, we're putting John to the test here so that we can grill him a little bit and get him better and ready for this presentation on stage in front of 600 people, which you, again, would have already done when he was watching this.
But I haven't done as we're having this. And
yeah, but the content is so good, we need to put it out into the ether. So we'll be releasing this right after Commerce Roundtable occurs, literally the Thursday after. So if you're watching this is pretty fresh, and he got off stage at this point or whatever, and we're putting it online. So with that being said, John's got slides, guys. So if you're listening to this on streaming or wherever you might be, jump over to the YouTube channel, watch it because you want to see the slides ultimately. So come over, watch the slides, enjoy, ask questions. If you've got them along the way, John will answer for you. And otherwise, enjoy the show, and we'll be here in the audience grilling John. So John, you've got the floor, my man.
I love it. Let me share the screen. So I'll obviously, for the presentation have an actual title, but slide 1 right now.
Well, you're not sharing anything, just
Yeah.
Let's
see.
He's too excited.
Too excited. There he is.
Slide 1. Who the is John Roman? So the reality is, in the future, when I'm doing this, there'll be kind of 3 segments of people in the audience, right? People that I know, people that I'm friends with, people that know of me that I might not know personally. There's definitely going to be a segment that doesn't know who I am, right? Who is this short king up on stage talking about whatnot? So wanted to give a little bit of proof of who I am. So Amer, I know you love the first one. 400 million plus in direct-to-consumer revenue.
And when we say, just to interrupt you, when we say whatnot, we're not talking about whatnot. We're talking about whatnot the app.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes, so it's
not
just
whatnot the
not generality, but yeah.
exactly. So a little bit about me: 5 exits, 4 acquisitions. Let's talk BattleBox, outdoor gear brand, 20 plus million in annual revenue, not the 400 million in lifetime. Unusual story: sold BattleBox in October 2021 for a 6x EBITDA. That was supposed to be the end of the journey. Then took an exit ramp and decided to take it back private and bought it April 2023 for a 1x EBITDA. Super strong social following, over 1 million on TikTok, hopefully 1 million this year on YouTube. Good bit on the other platforms too. Netflix TV show, little unusual. We have a Netflix original series, Southern Survival. It's literally episodes of us testing gear to determine if we're going to put it in the battle box. And then the purpose of today, we launched live shopping in April of this year as a test, and that's what I'm going to get into. So, this isn't a trend, right? The reality is we've talked about live shopping in the US for 10 years now? And we've always continued to point to China and say, well, China's doing this, China's doing that. The reality is it's two different consumer markets. It's two different cultures. We're never going to, don't say never, but the likelihood of us ever catching up to them on the live shopping phenomenon is probably not a reality. But the reality is it is growing. It's finally, for the first time in the decade, getting actual momentum. And looking at this chart, you can see next year China is going to hit over $1 trillion in live shopping. And that's not like a aggressive forecast. They will hit that with certainty. They're getting close this year. You look at the US side, just a fraction. And even this growth is just a fraction of what China and Europe and the rest of the world do. So
Yeah, it looks like the adoption is lower than China by far if you look back historically even.
yeah.
Huh. Very interesting.
So, I truly believe, even though we've been talking about it for 10 years, even though Gary Vee talked about it likely this morning, when you're hearing this, but in future for us now, is it bleeding edge? No, but it is leading edge. And the reality is we're still so early in the US. And I'll get into the data in a little bit, but what we're seeing too is, especially compared to TikTok Shop, which they do offer a live shopping flavor variant, but it hasn't picked up a lot of momentum. Their momentum is on the transactional side, non-live. And you'll see just way different scenario of retention and margin and upside. So let's first talk about Whatnot versus TikTok Shop. And, last year we were all talking about TikTok Shop and how great it is to scale. And, we have friends that have run agencies for it. The reality is, and this is just BattleBox data, not all data will be the same for all brands, but I've spoken to a lot of brands and they are seeing similar. And so TikTok Shop, AOV is $20. Whatnot, AOV is $88. Average cost of goods sold on TikTok Shop is between 65-75%, which is high. Whatnot average COGS is between 45 and 55%, which is actually more in line with our COGS in general. We're not a super high margin product like makeup or beauty. This is the really interesting part, and categorizing this as omni-channel, cross-channel. So cross-checking our data, 2% of our TikTok Shop customers purchase later on our site directly. Only 2%. And just to be completely transparent here, TikTok Shop's a 7-figure channel for us. It's not a small channel. We definitely have enough data at this point to get rid of any, statistical anomalies. But on the Whatnot side, 20% of these customers are later purchasing on our site. And we're still early, right? We're 5 months into this, and we're already seeing that number. In theory, that number is going to go up, which is very exciting.
So I have a question, John, as I'm kind of hearing this, which I thought was really interesting that I think that I see from this data. My radar says the reason why you're taking people and whatnot with a higher AOV and better repeat and return customers because it's almost an extension of your loyalty program that somebody's coming to find you who actually knows you, wants to hear from you, and searches for you, as opposed to TikTok Shop, which is very much a disruptive, unknown, social stop kind of sale, right? Like it's a very different type of thing. There's intention versus non-intention. I'm going to whatnot to watch and potentially shop and purchase versus TikTok, which I'm doing my endless doom scrolling before bed and something catches my eye with a hooky impulsive sale. Do you think that that might be part of the thought process here?
100%. So, why I talked about the whatnot customers coming over to our site eventually and purchasing. The reality is we also have our traditional community customers that have only known the direct to consumer website that also come. It's entertainment. It's it's on TikTok you're doom scrolling and you run into, thanks to their algorithm, shopping opportunities, right?
Sure.
While whatnot, you're there to shop. Shopping is the primary and entertainment's the secondary.
Sales tax stress, let Kintsugi slide. AI in your pocket, now enjoy the ride. 9 hours saved, that's time back and play. No tax guy needed, AI clears the way. Errors cut deep, not with this plan. 98.3%, my man. Click once, integrate, white glove, you'll see. Mention awesome, get 3 months for free. Sales tax headaches? Kintsugi AI turns tax chaos into something beautiful. The smart AI monitors, files, and optimizes your sales taxes automatically, saving customers 9 hours monthly while cutting errors by 98.3%. No expensive tax guy needed here. One-click integrations and white glove support. Mention awesome for 3 months free at trykintsugi.com.
Something that I kind of want to add to this, and it's actually sparked this idea. I think, John, recently you posted a video about calling your customers. You guys were calling and thanking them. I think there was a gentleman you were talking to that has been subscribing on and off to BattleBox for like 8 years, I think he said.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time. I know we kind of hit this over the head a bunch of times, but one thing that's very interesting about like Whatnot, even compared to Facebook groups, it's Facebook group is like a passive community where I feel like people are reacting to what people are posting, where Whatnot is like a community where people come to hang out. Like you have your handles, you have everything, everybody gets to know each other.
Yep.
And you're kind of there like, it's almost going to a virtual survival hangout per se, and people are sharing ideas, they're giving feedback on a product right away. So I've been in a couple of streams, like they'll have a tent or they'll have a knife and it's like, oh my god, I love that knife. So it's not like you just selling, it's people in real time engaging with you. And the reason I'm saying this is, like, to me, Whatnot is perfect for people who want to create and engage with their community in live time, in real time. And the reason I'm saying that is the guy on that reel that you shared mentioned community. He kept saying, I love the community. Even when I wasn't subscribing, I kept going to the Facebook group.
Yep.
So I think there's just like this like weird enablement for brands to connect even closer while selling with our community members.
Yeah, no, I think to your point, I think you're spot on. I think to your point, it's Whatnot overall, right? So whether it's a sports card channel or an outdoor channel, it doesn't matter, right? People are talking the same language about that niche, and
Yeah.
it's 100% the community aspect, and Whatnot pushes that.
Yeah.
So moving on, live selling is not just for Pokemon. So it's true, Pokemon and sports cards dominate Whatnot. The reality is they are the lion's share. They're also the first categories to market on Whatnot. When Whatnot launched, that's what they had. And you're smiling. Is it the Pokemon first edition or the...
No, it's the PSA 10 Grail.
Yeah, but these two
Yeah,
cards,
the
by the way,
PSA 10.
Like,
I have no idea what these guys are talking about.
so they're both, the Pokemon's a 7-figure card, the Jordan's a 6-figure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very expensive cards.
I was hunting for not for a 10, but I was hunting for like an 8 or 9 at the national. That's why I left.
I wanna get an 8. I wanna have an 8.
Yeah.
So the reality is these were just the first 2 categories, and as Whatnot is scaled, they've gone from, pre-COVID, they're sitting at baker's dozen of employees, right? Under 20 for sure. And now they're up to 600. And part of this scale and the raising that they did is they're beefing up categories. I'll get into some slides later, some of the categories. It's everything. And anything that isn't there, it's on the roadmap. And they're trying to bring the audience there. And they make it very advantageous where they want you to bring your audience. But by us bringing our audience, that's serving other channels. And when other channels bring their audience, it's a pretty unique approach that they're taking. So now I will say, go ahead.
No, just to add something to that, just having experience with this, if you compare to Whatnot to like eBay, eBay has live shopping as well, but eBay is extremely sheltered. You have to have specific and very extreme numbers, proven numbers to be on there. Where, in my opinion, Whatnot is the Shopify of live streaming. They want the little guys. They want to help you build. When they onboard you, there's a process and they show you, they have playbooks. So like even for people to think, as I know you shared your social following earlier on. Obviously, we had a bunch of conversations, a bunch of podcasts about that. But the one thing I want to point out and kind of contribute to this is that Whatnot wants to see the little guy win. They
100%.
give you all the tools.
Yeah, it's the MO that, maybe Shopify had 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like arming the rebels, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing I will hit on though is, I'm saying it's not just for Pokemon and sports cards, but the collectability and the gamification aspects can be utilized on all categories. And the type of consumer that's on there does like collectibles, does like gamification. So it's entertainment that converts. One of the really cool things, and there's a couple examples here, is you don't necessarily need to be the face, right? You don't have to be full frontal, as we call it, where you're fully in front of the camera. There's definitely examples that are, with technology, OBS. You have Backyard here, where they have a couple cameras, right? They're showing themselves. They're also showing their hands, and the sports cards are opening. You go to the far right, guy's selling a jersey, and he's full frontal. But you go to the bottom, and this channel does really well. It's only hands. There's no other camera. So the whole stage fright, not being comfortable in front of the camera, kind of goes away, and it allows you to test stuff. And now we've gone through a few different hosts on the BattleBox side, and we had some hosts that were only comfortable being hands only, and they still put up great numbers. Now, not as well, great numbers, but not as well as the full frontal. Full frontal is always going to get it done because this is entertainment, and you do want to be able to connect with someone. Treat it like content, not sales. Don't get me wrong, we're definitely managing the hourly revenue, hourly profit. Those are definitely metrics and numbers we look at and we tweak to try to improve. But being able to provide entertainment just makes the audience retention so much higher. So switching it up and taking breaks and engaging with the audience does help on the retention side, which then brings the total revenue number up. Entertainment first approach drives revenue at the end of the day. And I think it's based on what Jimmy was saying, right? People are coming to hang out, right? And buy. All right. Started with what we had. So typical John Roman approach, we went conservative, right? We took the existing team and we said, okay, let's test this. So launched April 2025, so 5 months ago. The entire month, we only ran 10 hours of selling. It was, I think, maybe 6 shows. And we just wanted to test different things, different days, times, different products just trying to understand, is there a fit here? Does this actually make sense? I mean, Gary Vee was talking about it, so we were like, we got to try it. So we used existing team members. Now, what we did is, the reality is we're a small team, and if we're going to dedicate some time to this, it can't come at the expense of the other 5 hats that team members are wearing, right? So we treated it as such. This was extra work, and we were going to compensate you on top of your already your work you were already doing for the organization. So we came up. It's at the bottom. I'll come to it in a second. But we obviously, when we created the modeling, we took that into consideration. Every show became a test: days, times, auction length, show length, products offered. If there is a variable, and you quickly realize it's a lot of variables in this, it got to the point where we had to make just educated decisions because there's so many variables. So with the model that we started with, and it's the model that we still have, it's an educated guess, throwing a dart at the board, but we decided that with certainty, everything we sell, we had to have at least a 52% markup on it from sell price, from cost to sell price. And the reason we did that is, first part, Whatnot fees. So, as you move up with Whatnot, they have promotions and they have special seller deals. So we're not necessarily paying these fees right now, but off the jump we were. And Whatnot fees are 8% plus the credit card transaction fee, which is 3% plus 30 cents. So call it 11% that they're taking. And then we also allocated between 8.5 and 10, we'll call it 10, for team commissions. So all in, you're already at 21, 22 minutes of straight out the top going out. So we needed to have a decent margin. We wanted to have better margins than TikTok. So this is where we aimed it. Now, just to clarify, 52% markup at minimum. There are items every show that we sell at full retail. There's items we sell above retail. So the markup for some products, it might be 200%. But
it seems like it's like the market is dictating the price almost.
Correct. 100%.
Interesting.
But we just knew that starting wise, we needed to be above on every product 52%. It's just a picture of Brandon, me on my computer on the back end, Brandon live selling, and then Walter on April 17th when he was running the back end, sending a funny meme. And Walter's in the audience right there. That's what I'll say next week.
Okay.
So really the easiest way to break this down is to understand the 3 different roles that are needed to execute. So the 3 roles: host, showrunner, and channel owner. The reality is there's Whatnot channels where one guy is all 3. And that's okay, right? I'm not saying to say that that's the wrong answer. It might be just the right answer and the right approach. For us, we kind of broke this down into two people. So we had the host, which starting off was Brandon, who's our head of content. And then we had the showrunner and the channel owner, which was Cameron. Cameron was overseeing TikTok Shop at the time. Actually at Battle Games last week, we promoted him to the director of social commerce, and he oversees exactly that, which obviously is TikTok Shop, Whatnot, but it's also going to be anything that's in that category of social selling and live shopping. So off the jump, Cameron was the owner of it, right? He was driving the performance and the growth, but he was also running the back end. While Brandon would, and this is a spreadsheet of the shows we were building at the time. We were running a Google sheet, and Cameron would build that. Brandon would see, okay, this is the item. This is what I know the starting bid's going to be. This is what the cost is, what the minimum selling price is, what the retail price, giving him some information to be able to talk intelligently. You'll see some specs on some of the items, or if we have low quantity. And the reality is, for the first several weeks and several tests, that was enough. because we're just testing at this point. We're trying to figure out what works, what flow we can do. And then we started tasking some other team members to provide insight, feedback. So you're not selling products, you're programming content. Back to what I said before, this is entertainment. This is, QVC kind of skipped our generation. But if you look at our parents' age, QVC was a thing, right? You'd watch Home Shopping Network, you'd watch QVC, 10, 15-minute segments on an item. You'd have maybe the owner of the company or someone from marketing talking about it with a host. And they'd talk through it. They'd open up the lines. And the reality is, big surprise, look at how we've treated TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. We don't have attention spans. We just wanna doom scroll. And this is that. This allows you to do that. It functions in the same way that all of the social platforms do, where you can scroll to the next channel. And we're selling a product, but we're only selling a product sometimes for 15, 20 seconds. If it's going well, maybe we'll sell several. We might spend 2 or 3 minutes on a product. But for the most part, we don't. It's literally condensed QVC. It's QVC for our generation, this current consumer trend. But also, while we talked about people coming back, 20% coming back to the BattleBox site directly to buy, the reality is it's a reoccurring revenue engine on platform in its own accord. So you can see this is last 7 days, the top buyers by sales, top buyers by orders. There's obviously correlation. You see the number 1 spot by quantity is the number 2 spot in revenue, and number 1 on revenue is number 5th on orders. But that's a lot of orders. 98 orders, 77 orders, 66 orders, $2,400 from a single customer.
That's a lot of stuff they bought from you.
Yeah.
Is this order considered an auction win or shipment?
Auction win. So it's a great cause. So what we see here is and how we track and view AOV is the combination what we actually ship. So after each live show, all of the orders, like if I'm on your show, Amir, and I will buy 5 things, those are all condensed down to a single order. But as you can see in this, and the crazy part is, looking at this top 10 list, 5 of them I know are actual members as well. And
so it's loyalty there, showing up really hard.
And 3 of those, two or three, weren't members before Whatnot. They then went direct and joined their membership because they liked it, right? It was the community aspect.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, I want."
So you're pushing it off back to, and you're just being able to see that on the direct to consumer side. That's pretty cool because your main product, your subscription product.
Yeah. Yeah, which is our dream flagship. Probably want to get them in that. It's forecastable revenue, right? Big thing is consistencies on days and times. You have the ability to schedule shows out in advance. I suggest you do that. We're typically scheduled out a month in advance. There's something where you can bookmark a show. So we'll be live today and we'll say, oh, by the way, we're going to be in Miami. We're giving away a TV for the buyer giveaway, October 11th. Let's go ahead and bookmark that show. So we're pushing that show. We'll even have maybe even have a contest. If we get this up to 300 bookmarks today, we're going to do the next item at $1 start. So it's a lot of gamification. 2 calls to drive everything. We keep it very simple. So on Monday, leadership, we review what the game plan is for the week, any learnings and pivots and tweaks we're going to do. At that time, we also keep scheduling the show a month out in advance. So any tweaks with schedule and host availability, we're tweaking then. It's paramount to keep those shows scheduled and at same days and times because you see the same people. Now, don't get me wrong, 15 minutes, we've churned through 80% of our audience. It's a constant flow of new people, but you also have those staples that half of them are there to buy, half aren't. Half are just bantering chat, and that's okay too, right? Like it's great. Friday we meet the entire Whatnot team, which now we have we have full-time team members that are that are assigned to whatnot. But we're reviewing any issues we ran in the week from technology standpoint. We actually, I showed earlier that Google Sheet slide we were using. We actually used Lovable, and we vibe coded an app that we use for it, where we have basically it goes up on the screen of the host, and it's just super, super seamless to know what they're selling, what an okay margin is. It has all their information, what's up next, reminders to make announcements. It's just kind of streamlined the whole thing, and it's not a Google Sheet with 600 tabs anymore. All right. Maybe not. There's a couple different ways to skin the cat. To me, you keep it tight until you need more. I know, some people here or listening are all about raising money and trying to take the big shot. We're conservative. So these are our actual numbers. We really waited until we needed the full-time role to hire for it, right? When our team that was all being compensated was starting to get a little thin, and everybody's pushed to the max, it was like, okay, well, let's hire then. So we made several hires now. We have, at the start of this in April, we had one guy that was kind of focused on show running and running this, while also figuring out TikTok Shop and just honestly general marketing responsibilities as well. And then we had Brandon, who is the face of our content, and he was at nighttime doing a couple shows a week. So it wasn't a lot, but now we have 5 hosts. As this is airing, we're hopefully hiring our second full-time showrunner. And then in a short order in October, we're hopefully hiring our third showrunner. And then hosts should be getting close to 9. Should be at 8 or 9 in October. So there's no need for a full-time team early. Test it out, and we scaled the roles when the system demanded it. To me, slow and steady wins the race. You can see this is very deliberate growth, but very conservative growth. 25K to 94K, 156K, 166, August 176. September will finish right at, hopefully above, but probably right at 200K. And then October will be a pretty large unlock for us, because we're going to have, by at least mid-month, hopefully 2 additional showrunners, 2 additional channels. We only have 1 channel right now, and then the 4 additional hosts. So it's going to be a major unlock in October. It's the first aggressive growth we've done. But that honestly will let us get pretty far up. At that point, I would imagine we'll be able to have a clear path to hopefully 400,000, 450,000 by the end of the year in a month, which is pretty big, and it's also not ramped up, right? We're running pretty empty on the secondary and tertiary channel at that point.
Yo, OmniSend is back with some new swag. AI is now in the mix. Yeah, you heard that. Smarter and better. Let AI decide. Personalize every line. Take your brand worldwide. How about 24/7 support? MJ of basketball, but emails to sports. So sit back, relax, watch the magic unfold. Let the folks at OmniSend get your story told. Tired of staring at blank pages? OmniSend AI doesn't hit you with writer's block. Their new AI writes your emails, personalizes content, and builds customer segments instantly. Just whisper who it's for, and AI figures out the rest. Join 125,000 users already winning with OmniSend's email, SMS, and push notifications. Backed by 24/7 amazing support, visit omnisend.com today.
Quick question for you. With the numbers and everything that you guys have done, kind of for the audience, how much is this organic, whatnot, and you guys pushing it, and how much of it, if any, is leveraging the current following on social, the current email subscriber list? How did you guys decide to push people in that direction? If at all?
Sure. So when we initially launched, we did make for the first 2 weeks when we did I think 4 shows in those first 2 weeks. We did post on all of our channels about it. We then made the conscious effort and decision to not anymore because we had some initial data where we saw what AOV was looking like. We saw what the community engagement was like. And we decided that this is more top of funnel for our membership. That's just highly profitable. But it's honestly funnel for our core business that we can actually scale to be, almost as big as our current business without a crazy pivot. So since then, it's very little. We'll occasionally during battle games that went live on YouTube. And I said, hey, we're going live on Whatnot in 30 minutes. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Exclusive items only available on today's show. But for the most part, we're not really pushing it on social anymore. Because Whatnot is also ramping up their audience and they're spending a lot. So, all right. New hosts, new formats, new energy. So this was a screenshot from today, actually. And you can see there's 3 different hosts when you look at the calendar, and then we have one that's completely different that you can see has 233 bookmarks versus the right under 100 for the others. That's the Live in Miami. So I talked about how Whatnot's this community. We're going down to Miami with 3 of the top 5 channels in our space. And we're doing a marathon live show from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we're all promoting each other. We're all going to rate each other. We're all doing, non-standard giveaways. We're giving a 70-inch Samsung TV away. And it's going to be multiple hosts on our end. But switching it up. So you can see Brandon's on the Today at 4. This Miami one, even though it's October 11th, we've moved it up. It says it's tomorrow at 4. It's not. We have moved it up so audience people can find it easier and bookmark it. They can pull up shows and they see it right away. Click on the one that looks different. And then we have Joey tomorrow at 8, and we have Chuck on the 18th at 9 a.m. So rotating the hosts, keeping it fresh, keeping team members' sanity too, right? Like, while we have full-time resources at it, we don't have anybody putting in full-time hours specifically only hosting, which we might get to, but 40 hours of live hosting a week's a lot, right? It's probably tough on your voice and tough on your sanity. Gamification, which I'll get to in a moment, is a big piece of this. As I said before, it kind of spawned on the sports cards and Pokemon side, but we've tested a lot of the same gamification and it works. People like the pseudo gambling, if you will. So creative formats outperform added hours. We quickly realized, and right now as we launch a secondary and tertiary channel, our main channel, we're just focused on efficiency and tweaks to make it a bigger revenue number, which we know with certainty we can do. But it's not just adding more hours on the show. Now we're going to tweak that while adding more hours on the second and third channel. And I've already kind of hit on a little bit how Whatnot is a community. Okay. The important question, how big can one channel get? So, we've been working closely with Whatnot. We've been in some special programs, for, I guess, high potential sellers, if you will. So we've been able to understand the platform really well. As I said before, Pokemon and sports cards are the first categories to Whatnot. So they are the largest significantly. But single channels, and when I'm talking about single channels, I'm talking about probably businesses between 5 million annual revenue to maybe 400, 500 million. So the vast majority. I'm not talking about, if you're producing less than $1 million in annual revenue, it might be tough for you to produce $1 million on Whatnot, right? For the most part, I'm viewing Whatnot as a secondary channel. So you have to have some social proof and certain levels of revenue anyway, for this to really make sense. So all those assumptions, single channels range. If you're doing a full load of, call it 35 to 45 hours a week, 2 million to 20 million in revenue and annual revenue. You will fall into one of those categories if you have a proven brand that's putting up, more than those numbers on your direct sites. Looking at channels, you can see Pokemon, easy to get above 20 million. Sports cards, 15 million plus. Collectibles, 10 million plus. We're in that 5 range. Average DTC brand putting in, the minimum of probably 35 hours is probably 2 to 5. I would say both ours and the average DTC brand, the audience size for both of those, because there are all these categories that aren't the established categories of Whatnot's launched in the last 6 to 12 months, those numbers are going to go up as the audience that you're selling to onboards onto the platform, which is absolutely a thing, right? The amount of new users they're adding monthly is phenomenal. And they're not coming just for Pokemon and sports cards. So as I said, we're launching our second or our third channel. One is going to be a smaller niche than BattleBox. So it's going to be focused on a specific element of the outdoors and outdoor space. And then the other one we're launching is going to be a more broader, more generalized channel where our programming is going to be based on, we'll stick to programming, then that'll be the theme, right? So it might be, bad examples, vintage rock and roll t-shirts Thursday nights, right? And it might be Pokemon on Saturday. Probably won't do either of those, but we're going to just have scheduled programming. And based on the deals we can find and make will be the themes. And it's interesting because it's their first time getting out of the outdoor space. While the outdoor channel is niche, is likely going to be a channel focused on gamification, which I am still going to speak to. What's wild to me is talking to Whatnot. There's multiple merchants that are doing 9 figures with a single check. Which is just mind blowing. And to be fair,
I would have never guessed it, and I've been on there a lot.
To be fair, 100% of them are in the 2 established markets, right? Pokemon and sports cards. Now, what they also have they have multiple merchants that are at 9 figures plus that have a lot of channels, and those channels are the full gambit, not just sports cards and Pokemon. They have. He spoke to me about our account manager spoke to me about 2 of them, not, giving names or anything, but just what they did, because what they did is what we're doing. We're just honestly a little bit behind them. They started, about a year and a half ago, and they started the same way. We're going to do 1 channel. Oh, this is such an opportunity. We're going to do these additional channels. You can see some of the categories: trading cards, books and movies, sports cards, toys and hobbies, electronics, coins and money, storage units, which is just wild. But they're adding all these categories. All right, gamification aspect. Amir, you obviously know about this because you've played in the sports card world. So the platform by design has all these built-in apps, if you will, that promote gamification. So if you're looking at the top right, it's literally the Whatnot wheel. So you can sell spots on this wheel, and then the wheel can dictate something else. So for us, what we've done is we've had a really high-end knife, $400 knife, and we're selling stickers, BattleBox stickers, right? Dollar start auctions, buy the sticker, you're buying the sticker, but you're also going to get entered onto the wheel, and one of the people are going to win the $400 knife. And what we've seen are the margins with that are wild. Like it's ridiculous. It's 300-400% higher than traditional selling. Same thing on the bottom side. You're seeing people sell what seems to be some repacks. So they've taken existing cards and they've made their own boxes and packs, and then they're selling spots, teams. So it's a multi-sport. So this guy won Chicago. So just pretty cool to see different types of gamification. Mystery boxes are a big element of it. We've done mystery boxes where we just aren't even telling you what's in the box, and people are buying. And once again, the margins ran are much higher. Randomization games. The reality is people love pseudo gambling. It's gambling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's no different. I mean, mystery gifts, boxes, things have been very popular in the Gen Z space already. So it sounds like this is very much leaning into the persona and the way that a Generation Z person shops ultimately.
In some channels,
Generatively.
and we're not talking about mystery box here like for $50 or $100. We're talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so we actually had a meeting this morning. So we started testing mystery boxes with values of $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. We're making a slight tweak. We've sold them, but we've now found that mystery boxes in the value range of $300 to $350 is the sweet spot, at least for our audience. Going lower doesn't make sense. Going higher doesn't make sense. So we're going to try to cater to what the people want, right? And procure mystery boxes in that $300 to $350 range.
That's crazy.
So some takeaways. It's a serious channel. It went from, going in, when I look at 2024, we had one 7-figure channel Amazon, and we had what we knew with 100% confidence was going to be our secondary 7-figure channel, which was going to be TikTok Shop. We launched middle part of 2024, and we knew that, through the ramp and the run rate, it's a 7-figure channel. Going into Whatnot, we knew it was likely a 7-figure channel, but we didn't realize it was going to be our largest channel outside of direct to consumer, our website. And we didn't realize that, it's mid 7 figures already, with a very clear path to being 8, which is just wild. Other takeaways: you don't need to be on camera if you're not comfortable. So being a hands model until you prove out some success and test and can hire a full-time asset to be full frontal. And then a small team can scale fast, right? Comp your team, put in the extra work and figure it out. Treat it like content and commerce. The biggest trend so we've had some, because Whatnot is such a community, you have a lot of these channels that are just willing to have conversations. So we've spoken to the 2 largest outdoor channels in our space, in the outdoor space on Whatnot. Both do 8 figures, low 8 figures. But both of them gave the same advice: entertainment. Entertain, and then the money and the revenue all just follow. Which kind of plays to the whole community thing. There's also a very interesting aspect. Those that haven't been on Whatnot won't understand, but there's something called a raid, where when your show is ending, instead of just hitting end the show and everybody just gets disconnected, you hit raid and you pick another show, some other channel, not yours, to go to. And it takes if you have 100 people, it literally takes your 100 people and dumps them and you into someone else's channel. And talk about community, right? They'll run a giveaway and celebrate it. They'll tell all their people to follow you. It's everyone can win attitude, which is kind of cool. And again, not often can I say that I truly believe that we're early in on this. And starting today, you're still early, right? Like TikTok in general, not TikTok Shop, just TikTok in general. We grabbed the BattleBox handle in February 2020, sat on it for literally 12 months before we started posting content. So we started posting content in February 2021. We were on time. I don't know how early we were, but being on time still can get you wins. And this is a larger opportunity, and I'm confident that we're early. We're not even on time yet. Like this is still early. If you can launch in 2025, you're ahead of the masses.
Set a fire to your past, but don't panic or fret. Live Recover is here, they'll take care of the rest. No bots up in here, just real humans with trust. Whatever you did in the past, leave it back in the dust. Man, conversions are rising like your ROI. 6x your revenue, and that's not a lie. Sales team in your pocket, day and night, bringing in-store vibes to your site, that's right. Your abandoned cart is missing the human touch. Live Recover adds real people to your texts. Live agents who chat with customers in real time, driving higher conversions and sales recovery. Setup just takes 10 minutes. Connect, chat, and convert, just like that. Visit liverecover.com today and let them know Awesome sent you.
Just a question on starting a channel and getting going. Obviously, a channel can take time to build up. What's your advice from what you guys learned to kind of get a little quicker traction and get people into the channel?
Consistency. When I say consistency, same day, same time, and promoting your next show, and promoting all your shows while you're on, right? So if we're having a show right now, with certainty, let's say it's only an hour show, with certainty, 3 or 4 times, I'm going to say, hey, go ahead and bookmark tomorrow's show at 7 or next Saturday's show at 6. It's at 25 bookmarks. If we get it to 35 bookmarks, I'm going to do X. And just, again, that gamification, pseudo gambling, right? People buy into that. That's a big piece. They do offer a promote tool where you can, the equivalent of an ad, you can run an ad where your live show will show it sponsored and show up top. It's not really scalable. It's, I would like to spend, because it's profitable, I'd like to spend as much money on it as possible. The reality is we're really spending more than $30 or $40 an hour on the on the promotions. You start losing efficacy, which sucks. Maybe as the outdoor audience grows, we'll be able to scale it further. I'm sure on the sports card side, you could spend more. But another point, and Amir, I did it for your show, if you remember, was a community boost. So the same idea of me running ads, natively, by default, if you're watching a show, you can click boost and you can put ad dollars behind the show. And it happened every single show. We have people, random patrons, putting ad dollars behind our show, which is so cool.
And they can tip you on it too.
And they can tip you on it as well. We also get tips. Not every show, but most shows. And some hosts get tips every single time. And tips obviously go straight to the host. That's part of the compensation.
You're muted, Jimmy.
Yeah, my dogs are barking. No, that was really cool, man. Like, that was a nice breakdown. I think that, looking outside, I know there's a crap ton of work that gets into it, but the simplicity of what it actually is, the things that I took away from it were, A, obviously you've got to have a good product. A brand helps, obviously, even more. 2, you've got to have good showmanship almost, so content, but you've got to have the person who can think on their feet. I mean, obviously, you've got Curran, who's already very social and on video all the time, constantly very comfortable. So this might be a challenge, or you might have to find a partner to do that. But really, frankly, all it really is just getting out in front of people. And even if it's just an audience of 10 or 100 people or 20 people, it's still 20 people you're selling to that are there with level and intent to want to make a purchase. So I get that. It makes a lot of sense.
One thing, and John, you can correct me here, at least from my experience, I don't think you have to be a showman in it. I think you have to be genuine who you are and your passion for what you're doing. I think showmanship maybe helps because a person is not nervous, but I've been on a lot of shows where somebody's not like overly entertaining, but the way they're talking, engaging,
human being and genuine. It's the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like hanging with a friend.
Why user-generated content works so well. It's the same. Yeah. People want connection. What's wild though, Jimmy, is so we're running 15 shows a week right now. Brandon's only 2 of them. But now when we started, it was only Brandon. Yeah.
I understand that.
Because of what Brandon does, like we need him over here, not
sure.
Not showing on a hotel room, which we did Friday
That makes sense.
from Battle Games.
That makes total sense. So cool. Well, that was awesome. What we'll do is we'll make sure that we do a link to the show notes or something so people can come
Okay.
grab the slides or whatever they want to do from there. But John, that was excellent. I think that it gave a very simple framework to get people started. And I think the advice you'd probably tell anybody just as much as Gary will tell them is just get on there and do it. You're going to suck your first 20, 30, but you'll get better and better. And the best way to continue to repeat, just like this podcast. You remember, guys, John, I'm going to pick on Amer right now because he loves getting picked on. Remember how Amer used to be on podcast 1 versus now on podcast like 60, 70, whatever the hell we're at right now? John, he used to be like, I need to speak like Obama. And he spoke really slow. And
Really
fact,
well,
early,
though.
I was kind of worried that there might be something mentally wrong with him. Turns out he was just trying to,
Present well.
speak like Obama. That's, I think, what it was.
I mean,
right?
to be fair, Obama is a great speaker.
He was, but Amer was trying to channel his own, which ended up coming out really weird.
That's
is what I'm trying to
Chicago.
say. And now that Amer is his own authentic self, and he's talking with his ums and he stutters and his fast talking mistakes, like these are good, and his mispronunciations and grammar, it gives people hope that anyone can do it, just like anyone.
But I
can
think
get
we're
on.
all like this. I mean, I guess you had probably a little bit more experience than we did, but I didn't have the experience.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, no, but we've all improved in different ways. But I'm just saying generally.
The reason I actually did that, and I think it's a mistake, and I used to be critical of people that do these things, I was actually afraid of misstating somebody and misleading a person that is listening to us. I felt like I needed to give the most accurate and best information. So I kind of slowed down my thinking and make sure, hey, am I giving the most accurate information that's available to me and not misstating something?
Or you could just be like Brian and just make up stats out of thin air and just run with
No,
them.
but then I realized
many stats, just lies.
but I realized I got 3 guys that can keep me in check. Leading edge, whatever.
I think we keep Brian in check because he throws out random stats all the time. I'm like, where did you even get that from? And he's like, well, it just sounds right. And I'm like, that's called generalization. Not good when you're out there. But with that, guys, dude, I love this. That was great. I think that hopefully, obviously, this pod comes out afterwards, so you've already done it at stage, but your second run will even be better as you go through it. I hope the audience appreciated the conversation, the learning here. So that was just kind of like a cool playbook, a masterclass for how to do live shopping on Whatnot for an e-commerce or direct-to-consumer brand. And I'm going to wrap this thing up. So for Mr. John Roman, thank you, Mr. Android-loving Survival King, for your presentation. We've got Amer Grasinic, the Prince of Bosnia, signing off here. And my name is Jimmy Kim. I'm the resident cool guy here. So thank you guys all for listening to Awesome Pod. And we'll see you guys next week. Adios, dudes. See ya. Oh, yeah, and Brian wasn't here, so he sucks. See ya.
Welcome to the Awesome Pod, where we talked a lot. E-com was the path that we walked a lot. But now the question is, will you subscribe or not?